Okay, so now that the Grey Demon is finally released on Global, it's time to make a video on how to beat him. First I want to talk about the gameplay of the Grey Demon, and I'm going to explain this little info chart, I guess, I have on screen, which is going to be in the description if you want to download it for some reason. Maybe post it on Twitter, I don't know. But yeah, how does the Grey Demon works? I have gameplay on the side. I recorded this like yesterday because I haven't unlocked on Global yet. By the time I'm recording this, I'm still maining JP. I put it out there. I'm still maining JP, so I do have the gameplay from JP. But I was using, I invited my friend Speedy, and we were both using units that were already on Global, right? Just so it's more of a gameplay that you can rely on. We were using good gear though in level 80s, but the gameplay is not the focus. The focus is what the units do and how to beat them. So, how does a Grey Demon work? What are his mechanics? In the first phase, there are two phases. He is flying, as you can see, when you play him, and he does have a, I don't know exactly how much health he has, but he does have a not very high amount of health, but you can't deal physical attacks to him. They are close by. What I mean by that is, if an attack of a unit is like hand-to-hand combat, right, it doesn't hit him if he's flying. Let me make an example. So counter Meliodas, which is a unit that everyone is aware of by this point, he does have two attacks. One of them being the regular attack card, and one of them being the counter. The regular attack card, if you see the animation, he attacks from far away, right? Boom, he slashes and the attack goes to him. The other card, he gets close by and does the whole animation of attacking because it's the outburst counter. This doesn't actually hit him. If you counter in the phase where he's flying, the counter does not do damage. So in the phases that he is flying, you do have to be attacking him. Now, when does he go to the ground? Because he does get to the ground, and then you can use physical attacks. He does go to the ground after, I think, 3 turns of the first phase, or in the second phase when you break the shield. In the second phase, he does have a shield. As breaking the shield, you stun him. As breaking the shield, he does go down, and you're able to do physical attacks on him. The one issue is that whenever he gets stunned, he just goes right back to flying, right? So the counter card is very bad for it. But I didn't still put the Meliodas in here just because of lack of options. But as you can see, options for dealing damage to him are not the greatest right now on Global. It pretty much is King or Meliodas. I have Merlin here. She's gonna release in a few weeks, or however long they decide to take to release her, to be fair. And she does do good damage. So whenever she comes out, if you don't want to use King for some reason, Merlin is a good option, but King is still the best option. Like right now in JP, if you have King with UR gear, you can do like 1,000,000 damage with one attack card. King is the unit for the Grey Demon. Which, by the way, 1,000,000 damage is complete overkill because he has like 500k health or something in the second phase on extreme, so it's complete overkill. But yeah, right now on Global, the options for damage dealers are not very good. You could bring others, but one that was suggested was Jericho. But the issue with Jericho that both of these attacks are physical attacks, so you literally can't do them. And the other issue is that she needs to build up her crit chance. So you're only going to be doing it for the ultimate, and if you're not attacking, the crit chance doesn't go up. It's like, it's a very bad unit for damage because of it, but she is usable. I didn't put in the chart though, because I thought you can use her, but she's going to be such an annoyance that it's not worth using in any difficulty over easy, right? I mean, it's easy, hard, extreme, and then hell, which hell is not on Global yet. You wouldn't be able to beat it even if it was, but Jericho is an old, like, even if you do have her at like 2-6, she's gonna be still not very good. And then Griamore is another damage dealer. He just doesn't work as well. He can be used as a support, I guess, but still not good. So those are the other like options I had in mind. But that's it. For damage dealers right now on Global, it's really lacking. But to be fair, even now on JP, the only real unit people use is King. Even Escanor. Like, Escanor is a green unit, and this attack counts, but this one doesn't when he's flying, right? And because of it, no one uses Escanor. And even still, King would do more damage. So King is the best one, and that's why me, like Mystic, and all the JP players that made like reroll guides and tier lists were like reroll for King or try to pull King, because King is necessary for the Grey Demon. Like, again, you can't beat it with Meliodas, especially in like easy and hard, but King is just so much better. It's just not even close. But that's pretty much the mechanics. Like, he does have an attack that takes off an ult gauge, and he does have an attack that takes off buffs. So I'll talk about the boosters in a second. That matters with the boosters. And he also has an AoE attack, but that's when he's on the ground. The AoE attack hits decently hard, but as long as you don't have him be in the ground, that's okay. And if he does go to the ground, if you can use a counter card, it's actually really good. But I was gonna say the boosters, right? So the strategy is, and this is the team, right, that I would suggest, you have a damage dealer, a booster, and a support. Now Gopher is a staple in every raid team ever, but he's not on global right now, and he will be very soon, just like Murden. So the optimal team, like till this day on GP, is King, Helbram, or Gilthunder. One person uses Helbram, one person uses Gilthunder, because they have different boosts. Let me open up Gil right here and Helbram right here. Helbram has a boost attack related stats, and Gilthunder has boost attack. And those boosts don't go over each other, right? They overlap. So it does the 60 if you can get level 3, but to be fair, with how Gopher is not gonna that easy, it's like 30 or 40 plus the 50 or 20. Plus, of course, the crit chance, the crit damage, and the pierce rate. So those are the true boosters you want to be using. And it is better to run the true boosters than using like true damage dealers and like Elizabeth, right? Elizabeth is also really good. If you are going to be using Elizabeth, you can't use the SR Elizabeth, but she's really good because of her passive and her card. Let me close these cards right here. Elizabeth is actually really good. We still use her on Hell sometimes. Her passive is that she starts with an extra true ult gauge, so you can force her to have an ultimate if you use like true attack cards in the move, and then the second turn, right, you have her ultimate, and then you fully heal everyone, and you give everyone true ultimate gauge, which is really good if you're going for ults, especially because, again, Meliodas doesn't do that much damage, but his ult is pretty decent because he removes buffs. In the second phase, he does have an HP buff. If you can cleanse his buff, that's actually very huge. Because I don't know exactly how much the HP buff is. On global we can check more easily than on JP. But the HP buff should be like 50% or something, I'm assuming. Cleansing that HP buff is really good. That's literally taking down his HP. So yeah, this ultimate from Meliodas is really good. Even if the counter card is not good, the ultimate is. So the Elizabeth is very helpful. Plus the healing, in case you take damage, is very nice. And she does remove debuffs, which is also really good. And then that's pretty much it for the cards. Now for the units in the back, SR Elizabeth, if you've been playing the game, you know what she does because she's a free unit. Let me change to strength right here. She is a free unit, you should have, oh, clicked on Elizabeth. Her passive is really good. It works in the 4th slot. I've been receiving people asking me if it works, and yes, her passive works in the 4th slot, and that's why it's really good. Allies are healed by 10% at the start of next turn, so you take damage, boom, heal. It's really good. But then we also have King, Ruin, and Elione. Now, King and Elione do pretty much the same thing. That's why it's either or. But you need their passive as well. All these you need their passive, right? You need to unlock their passive. Or their unique, I guess. Increases all allies attack related stats by 10% deathmatch. So it increases their damage pretty much by 10%. And then Elione increases green attack related stats by 10%. So, no, it's not HP. Wait, increases HP attribute allies? Why does it say HP? Vitality. Doesn't matter. It increases vitality attribute allies attack related stats. So, same thing. If you're going to be using only vitality characters, is the same thing. And then Ruin, which, in R, yeah, Ruin is actually really decent because he reduces damage taken by 20% in the deathmatch. So that's actually very valuable if you're taking a lot of damage and your allies are getting really weak. But he's an R. A lot of people are not going to be able to awaken him to 60 because he's an R. And books right now are very annoying and level up items and stuff. But if you can, he's a very, very solid option. It's funny how this game Rs and SRs are so valuable. I mean, you know, not every SR and R is valuable, but a lot of them are. So that's pretty much the Grey Demon. It's not as, like, friendly to newbies as the Red Demon. Like, the Red Demon is like, man, you can bring any unit and just freeze it, man. As long as you have Gustav or now Red Merlin, you're a-okay, because you can just keep freezing him or petrifying him, and you'll be alright. The Grey Demon, I think they were like, nah, we can't have this petrify thing anymore. So they released the Grey Demon, can't petrify, can't freeze. Some other, like, I guess attribute characters. Not Red, because Red has type disadvantage, but maybe Diane, maybe Elliot, nah. Maybe King? King will have strong, King will do extra damage, but even still, his attack card doesn't do any damage because the multiplier is pretty low. Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's lacking characters of other elements that are good for it. The one thing is though, if you want to build up Green King, his passive is what makes him good. I didn't talk about him, but I was just flashing out. He's really good. Increases the crit chance by 10% for each alt KG has. Combining with the Elizabeth, I don't have the Elizabeth open. Combining with the Elizabeth, Vitality, where is she? Where she does ult in the second turn, if possible, increases ult gauge by 2. You can make King have an extra ult gauge, which is really good, and increases by an additional 50% when it's fully filled. So you have like what, 130% chance to crit, which is really nice. And this card is what matters, doubles the crit damage. This card is where most of his damage comes from because of the double crit damage, and he's always going to be critting because of a crit chance, right? If he doesn't crit, he doesn't do any damage, but if he does, it does really good damage. That's why combining cards is really good and stuff like that. And then the other cards, Ruin, increases damage by each debuff the target has. The demon can't be debuffed, so this card is pretty much useless. The effect on it is pretty much, the damage is okay. This card is where the big boy damage is at. And then the ultimate is really good as well, especially because it's a guaranteed crit, and the multiplier is pretty good. It's like doing a level 3 card pretty much. But yeah, this is the Grey Demon. Good luck, and thank you guys for watching.